Welcome to the Beauty Blend podcast, where we delve deep into the beauty industry from the inside out. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Brittany.
And we're so excited. Today we have a guest, Dalton. We're so
Hello.
excited to have you, so thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
We're going to start by just kind of having you introduce yourself, kind of let us know your background, like education, and what got you to where you are today.
Age too.
If you want, you don't
Actually,
have to.
let's all go
Yeah,
out
let's
with
do
our
it.
age. I don't know if they really know our ages.
Okay,
Let's
go
go.
ahead. Say your age first.
My name's Dalton Morris. I live
Wait, it's
in
Morris?
Yeah,
Dalton
Morris.
Yeah.
He's in
Oh.
Morris.
Yep. So I live in Cleveland. I went to St. Ed's high school. I went to Ohio University, and then I'm 29. Just had a baby, and
Congrats. Cute little
yeah,
girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what do you do?
Yeah, so I actually am one of the senior territory managers
Mhm.
for Alma Lasers. I cover the entire state of Ohio and the entire state of Michigan, so a lot of miles on the
Yes.
vehicles now,
I'm sure.
which is great.
the road a
So,
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Sales representative for them. So
And that's how we know Dalton too. He helped get us into some of our lasers. All of our lasers.
I would say he introduced
He
you
is.
all to the.
Yeah, we should talk about that real quick. Dalton.
Put me on the spot here, huh?
Dang, Dalton.
Went into a wellness
He-
center.
Yeah, so we were in a wellness center exclusively, and Dalton comes walking in and completely changed our whole trajectory of what we were
Opened the
doing.
doors.
And yeah, now we have 2 separate businesses. All because of this dude right here. He's
I
just
mean,
so convincing, I guess.
no, I mean, like at the end of the day, like when you're a multi-billion-dollar company, and I don't live local to Columbus, but you look to partner with specific practices, right? And we'll probably get into that throughout this show. And you look to partner with practices, put devices in specific areas based off of what people are searching for and what the business of beauty really is. And you guys can kind of see that. And I think you've embraced having a second business, per se.
Embracing.
Yeah, embracing. Yeah,
Actively
yeah.
embracing.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's definitely all because of Dalton. that
I'm
we're in
happy.
here. So let's talk about Dalton. Yeah, Britt's happy.
Yeah, I'm a licensed esthetician
Yes,
now.
perfect. So Dalton, let's talk about what got you into the beauty industry, though. How did you get into what you're doing now? I know you went to school. Did you do like sales? What was your degree in?
So it's super interesting. I actually studied health service administration,
Oh, yeah.
business minor from OU. They have a pretty good program.
Mhm.
And I knew I kind of always wanted to be in healthcare to some capacity. And I never thought I would go into sales, right? More and more people were like, hey, you're a people person. Get into sales. But how I really got into it, I was in pharmaceuticals for a couple years. And I didn't really like the idea of pushing pills. And
Yeah.
that's not to like
Right.
degrade the industry. It's
Right.
just like I didn't get what I wanted out of it, right? I want to
Mhm.
put more in what I'm getting out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stumbled upon Alma, and they're a 23-year-old company who's been in the space for a long time, and they're a traditional laser company, but beauty as a whole is everything and anything, as you both know. It could be skincare, it could be weight loss, it could be hair,
Mhm.
it could be sexual health, body contouring, like it's a
Yeah.
lot of different things. For me, I saw a little bit of a different passion, and that's where I took it, where it's like, oh, I get to work with med spas. I get to work with plastic surgeons, even some internal primary care family practices who are trying to bring on some extra cash pay. As a male in the business,
Yeah.
you're
Are we
asking me
jumping
that?
in? Let's
Yes,
jump
go.
on into
Yeah,
that.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, let's talk about what that's like for you, being a male.
So I think lasers as a whole, like that predominant industry, is very male dominated. But when you look at the beauty side of it, most med spas are owned by females, or maybe some nurse practitioners, RNs, doctors. I'd say that as a guy, you got to find your place in that. Depends on what you're doing, right? But for me, I look at it as like I'm helping people, and then I'm helping patients at the end of the day. So if I can help a business owner like you guys, or business owners like you guys and your father, treat patients and bring extra revenue into your practice, like that's what I look at it. So I don't know if you have anything to expand on that.
Well, I want to get a little deeper on that. Is there anything with working in the beauty industry that has maybe brought up like insecurities for you, just being around a bunch of people who have
Look
certain
good.
They're
looks?
like
Yeah.
to
I mean,
to
you
the
look
nines.
great. So
You do
I'm
look
just
great.
curious if it,
Thank
no,
you.
you do. You look great. So you fit in with the industry very well. But I'm curious, has it brought up? I know this is getting kind of deep, but has it brought up anything
No,
for you, or
It's a
anything
really
you
good
notice
question.
at least, even if it's not you specifically, and maybe coworkers?
For sure. I think there's like when you're in like a sales position, right? Like you got to act the part.
Mhm.
I wear scrubs every day because it's comfortable and I can get in and out of my car.
We love our scrubs.
love scrubs.
Today too.
Love scrubs.
Yeah.
And it's comfortable. And I'm wearing them right now, and
Yeah.
this is like a Tuesday for
Perfect.
me. I think a lot of people wear suits in our space. Look good, feel good, play good. It's like always the mantra. But for me, like I'm gonna be 30 in October. I'm looking at
Welcome
more
to
of
the
like
club.
yeah. I'm throwing myself a 30th
I'll
birthday
lead the way,
party,
guys.
so,
Don't worry.
but I think like I've gotten Botox,
I was gonna say,
2 or 3 times. and-
Brotox is what they call
Brotox,
it.
yeah, and like my lines are pretty good now. This is
Yeah.
No,
like
you
shout
look
out
good,
to my
yeah.
injector. Like it
It's
looks
natural,
pretty
too.
good.
Very natural.
It's I think I got Dysport, excuse me. So not
Dysport's
Botox.
what I get too. Yeah.
I got that back on like January 2nd. So this is
Oh, wow.
this is a long time, and I think I
Dang.
took 50 units.
I know. I'm 3 months on the dot every time.
Yeah, and like
Done it
mine's
yet.
lasting a while, but I think there's expectation where like I go to the gym, 3-4 days a week. So for me, like I have to look a part and I have to play that part. There is some self-consciousness there, like where I'm like, okay, like am I gonna look good when I go into this office? And this hairstyle for me is a little different.
I was gonna say, has it always
Love
been
it.
long?
No, it's never really been this long. This is the
What made
longest
you
I've had
decide
it
to
in
go
a
that
long time.
route?
Just something different, I've
When
always
I
had
first met
short
you,
hair.
was it short?
Yeah, it was short.
Okay.
Back in May or April last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've always had short hair, curly hair, but
Yeah.
like it was always just the standard, like up in the middle, right? And for me, like I tried to grow it out in the past, and it was something that I was trying to do, but it was so curly I wouldn't get over that hump.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I just tried something different, and I'm like, this is a different look, so I kind of embraced that persona
Yeah.
per se,
Good.
persona, or however you.
Persona.
Can you put in a man bun yet?
I have
Looks
a couple
close.
times.
Yeah, there you go. Good.
Some people I know might make fun of me for that,
No.
and that's fine.
We don't
But
care, right?
to keep it out of my head, like if I'm just lounging around the house,
Yeah.
I'll throw a little bun back there and,
Yeah.
and be okay. But it's definitely like in this space of aesthetics and wellness and health and wellness, you gotta look the part, you gotta act the part, and I mean, maybe it's watching what I eat on a daily basis.
Right.
Maybe it's going to the gym an extra time. I have rosacea, so I need to get some IPL treatments done, right? Like it's probably coming out now because it's warm and
Hot in here.
You're nervous.
Yeah.
We make you nervous.
I haven't eaten lunch today.
I'm just kidding.
So
Get hangry now.
like you think about different things, and like sometimes I didn't even really know some of these things existed that are treatments that you could do.
Right.
Skincare, like as a guy,
No.
guys should get into skincare.
I agree.
routines.
There's a huge, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's like a deficit.
It's
We-
like an
we need
untapped
more of it.
market.
Yeah,
It is.
100%. Well, I would even say like even if we try, I feel like this is my own perspective of it. Like for me, men that I've tried getting into our clinic, they're just not used to spending money on themselves.
Yeah.
Right. As women are.
Yeah.
I mean, to us, that's like you spend $300 on your hair. You spend a lot of money.
Yeah,
on
and that's
yourself.
like every 2 months.
And
that-
we're a lot of men I know they spend barely
20
25
bucks.
bucks and they're complaining.
Yeah, they're complaining.
Their
Yeah.
hair is too much. So I think even part of that is like they're just not used to having
it.
to spend the money on themselves. Do you see that with anybody you know or even yourself?
For 100%.
Yeah.
So
you
I
have
think
more access to things, which is kind of nice too. But
I'm like aware of it, and I
Yeah.
think like as a guy or male guy, whatever,
Yeah.
in a bro, like a guy in the space, like I have access to it. Like I have teammates who are females. Our company has a lot of females. I'm going to med spas and other places of business that I'm like, I see different skincare lines. I see this. And I think one of the things that guys are used to is, I just got like the Old Spice. I'm going to wash my face with that.
Oh,
And like,
The 3-in-1.
I'm a proponent of it. Like, luckily my wife has some stuff in the shower that like I'll throw on my face. I don't even know what it is.
See, and I think that's what I hear a lot.
You
of.
know?
No,
Yeah.
guys love the 2-in-1s, the
3-in-1s.
3-in-1s. If they can
Yeah.
wash the hair,
Body,
the face,
shampoo.
and their body, they're sold.
We're good.
They're
Yeah,
good.
all in one. Don't do
See,
anything else.
I'm careful about that because I've never gotten that with my hair being super curly and dry. Like I've had to be careful on
Right.
using certain stuff
Yes.
anyway.
Mhm.
So
Especially with
maybe
curly
that's
hair.
me doing my due diligence. But as far as like skincare, like I would love to get into the place where I'm doing a skincare routine. It's probably something that I beat myself up on. And there's not a lot of guys that are willing to go out and do that. But you made a good point earlier, like females are more willing to like go spend that.
We're used to it.
I think if like you have a female in your life that is talking to that male about it,
It's true.
they're going to
So
be
true.
more.
I got my boyfriend on a
inclined.
skincare
Yeah, he
routine.
likes
Yeah.
skincare products now.
And if you're aware of it, right? And But guys, as you know, like we're not afraid to swipe that card on certain things
That's
that we
true.
want.
Yeah.
Pair of golf clubs,
Watches.
watches for
Cars.
sure.
Cars, yeah.
Just kidding.
Cars. Oh yeah.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
a-
Definitely watches though.
I know
for
watches
sure.
are a thing.
Yeah.
I'm on the list for a few things.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
hopefully my AD doesn't call me for all three of them at
Yeah.
the same time.
Do you feel like you having to put on this persona is more because you're in the beauty industry? Or do you think it's the sales side of things that makes you feel like you have to put on a certain look? Do you think it's a combination?
I was gonna
Obviously,
say
it probably is,
combo.
but I'm curious if you feel like you would be that way if you weren't if you're selling cars, or whatever.
I actually don't think it's a combination. I think it's a trifecta of three different things.
okay.
And I'll expand on that. Like, I think definitely the sales side of it, right? Like, you think of modern salesmen, like, you have to be dressed to a T and, like, look good and not sloppy. Like, it's a little longer than I want my beard right now. But I'm thinking about that because how am I presenting myself to an office? In the beauty industry, like, you already have that standard where you got to look a little bit different. But it's also, like, self, too. Like, I carry myself pretty high. So I'm, like, looking at the beauty, I'm looking at the sales aspect, but then personally, I'm like, I definitely need to look this part. I need to look that part. Maybe it's buying a nicer polo. Maybe it's buying figs are not cheap.
Right,
but
yeah.
like I wear on clouds. Like they're also comfortable and great for your feet. But yeah, I think it's a little bit all three.
All of that. Yeah, that makes sense. I got more if you want me to
Go ahead.
No,
Fire away.
I'm going to keep getting back into more of the, I guess, emotional side of it. But do you feel like some of your male coworkers struggle with any of the, like, confidence issues? Or do you think there's any men who would maybe be in your industry, but because they don't feel like they have a certain look, they don't jump into the you think it doesn't, I guess my question is, do you think it affects you or males in particular more than it does like a female getting into this sales industry of beauty? Do you feel like you guys would think about it as much?
A little bit of both. Like I know some guys that I work with that they sell medical aesthetics and they do the lasers and things like that. And they would never get anything.
Yeah.
They would never get even like
Don't
Botox or fillers or anything. They just don't care. They're
Yeah,
like,
they
hey,
don't feel the need for it.
yeah, and that's fine, to each his own,
Yeah.
right? Maybe they're not comfortable with it. Maybe they just don't think they need it. But I also think from the female side, like if you're in a space where it's consistently like, I feel like girls always hold themselves to a higher standard for sure. So I can't speak for the females I work with, but I'm sure a lot of them are wanting to have that part and dress that part and look that. So.
All right, I'm going to ask this, and you don't have to answer it, but does your wife ever have any like concerns or issues with you working in a beauty industry? Does that ever bring up any insecurities for her?
So
I don't want you to have to speak for her per se.
No, I'm actually glad you brought that up because she knows I sell devices that can treat things.
Yeah.
And I think just having a baby, she had a cesarean, so C-section.
Oh
right?
yeah, that's
like,
a longer recovery.
She's got a little bit of stretch marks, things like that. And
yeah.
she's like, hey, babe, like, what do I do here? And she knows we have technology that can help out with that. And I'm like, look, at the end of the day, like, I'm going to love you regardless. Like, you just birthed our child. You know, like, for me, I don't care. Like, if you want to get into, like, some aesthetic treatments, beauty stuff, like, that's okay. But like the Opus, for example, like that treats stretch marks. So I was like, hey, there's an account I have that they'd love to treat you if you're comfortable with it. That's me saying, hey, if you want to go do that. And she gets her Botox and stuff like that and injections, but she's waiting because she just hasn't
had a baby,
gotten.
right?
Yeah, you got a baby.
And I think when you're pregnant, aren't you not supposed to be doing all that?
Yeah, for sure.
We
recommend against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, breastfeeding, and we recommend against it. Any light-based therapy or even injections.
Because you're at a higher risk for pigment when you have all the hormones raging everywhere.
I don't know if that answered it, really.
No, I mean, yeah, that did kind of answer. I was kind of curious, though, like, okay, say pre-baby. Let's just pretend she's at her, feeling her best. Does she ever have concerns of, because you travel, you're gone all the time, you're around beautiful people all the time. Beautiful people. I mean, you are. And does that ever bring up anything for her that she has expressed to you?
I think at first, no, not too much.
Okay.
I think at first, because like I never had really a traveling role.
Yeah.
In my previous like careers that I had, and I think at first it was a little bit like shocking to be on the road that much. And then, last year I was fortunate enough to be one of the top reps at our company, and I won. Thank you. A lot of nights on the road to get to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a trade-off and there's trust, and we've been together about 6-7 years anyways. Okay. So I think when you put that work in and then you actually get a reward out of it, like we went to our President's Club trip. I was like, honey, like this is like this is a lot of Marriott nights and stuff, but
Pays off later.
For sure.
Yeah.
Got to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel and trust, of course.
Trust is big. Yeah.
Luckily, my wife's a rock star, so
Oh,
I
that's
appreciate
good.
that.
Yeah, I haven't met her, but that's awesome. Because I think the reason I bring that up is I can have insecurity, so I think I would have a hard time dating someone in this industry. I personally, just
Really?
for my own. Yeah, I think so. I don't know why. I think because I'd be so worried about comparing to like everyone that they're around all day long. I don't know. Or like I would feel like I'd have to do all these treatments just to keep up. So that's kind of why I thought of that question. I don't know if you feel like that at all or.
I haven't thought about dating someone in the industry, so.
You don't have to think about that. You're not single. I don't know. I guess I just think of that when I see these guys at these conferences. I'm like, oh man, you're on the road all the time. It depends on the person, though. I agree.
Yeah.
Depends on the relationship and
Priorities. You got to
Priorities,
have your
for
priorities
sure.
in line, and I think that's with anybody, but
Yeah.
specifically in like a traveling role or in
Yeah.
like the business of like the business of beauty.
Literally.
Yeah, literally the
literal
business of beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So what other treatments have you done for aesthetics? You've done Botox. Have you done
Dysport.
I'm sorry, Dysport.
No, you're good.
I keep calling it Botox, but
I just
thing.
say
it,
I know, we all
everybody
do that.
knows.
I honestly, mine's Dysport too.
Oh, okay. We got stuff.
I've done Dysport. I've done our hair restoration.
Yeah.
We want to talk about
Ted.
Ted.
I love
Let's
to
do
talk about
Ted
Ted.
Okay.
Dysport, I've gotten some IPL. I haven't gotten it like this summer just because I'm golfing a lot out in the sun. But probably another month and a half when like laser season comes into play, like I'll be going every couple weeks to get that done. I probably need a little bit stronger of a device than IPL, probably like a pure vascular laser. Shout out to Alma, we just launched. We just launched
They got a
one.
new one out.
Yeah, we did. It's a
Bam.
532 and a 10C4. It's amazing. But
You can
probably
try
that. And then like hair, like I haven't gotten any hair removal, but like as a guy, like you might have some stragglers on your
Yeah.
back or something like that. I'm not
Hairy
too
chest.
hairy of a guy
Yeah.
besides my
Yeah.
chest, but maybe get that done. It's painful.
Do you know many guys have gotten hair removal?
On their backs.
On the back?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
And some guys do not want all of it on their chest, so
Oh.
that's becoming more common too.
I've seen more guys actually. It's really interesting. I've seen more guys get it around their neck,
And right here.
so they don't have to
Shave
it.
it, yeah. That's
And,
I
like-
was gonna say it's like here, and back is what I've seen a lot of.
For me, like I'm okay with that. Like
Yeah.
if you want to get that, that's great. But like, yeah, it is a nightmare to shave sometimes.
Yeah.
And luckily, like I don't have 5 o'clock shadow that bad or anything.
Yeah.
But I like to shave.
I mean, it's
so
definitely a full commitment too. Like you're saying,
For
I don't want
sure.
this hair ever again. So I think
Yeah.
if you're really committed on that, then
Yeah.
you got to go. all
6
in.
to 8 treatments, and then you're probably going to come back in, once a year for a couple
Yeah.
maintenance, and it's permanent hair reduction. But unless you got like electrolysis, but that's super
Right.
painful.
Oh, it hurts
Ooh.
so bad.
Yeah. Just get a soprano treatment done. You'll be good.
Pop them all in there.
Yeah.
One of my favorites though is that Ted. I've
yeah,
started
we
doing. I'm on
love
my
Ted.
Ted.
I have a third one coming
so
up.
Ted is trans epidermal, or
Go ahead and
epidermal
explain it.
delivery. It's a hair restoration device. That's actually by Alma. So you've had it done.
Explain what it
You've
does,
had
though.
so what it does is it's actually stimulating the hair follicle. So it uses like an ultrasound or like an acoustic sound wave to stimulate the hair follicle. There's no needles, no pain, no trauma, and no discomfort, which is nice. And it's helping basically with growth, thickening, and it helps actually keep your hair follicle anchored into its root for a longer period of time. So it keeps it in that active growth phase longer. And it's the best thing about it is there's no downtime either. So it's a good alternative. It's actually it's like the best hair restoration option out there, I feel like, because everything else involves needles.
I've
and pain
noticed
or
such a
surgery.
difference.
And yeah, so I think we've all three had them done. And the nice part, even after
Well,
just one, she had huge change in her
It's amazing.
thickening.
Because I noticed as 35 hit me real hard.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I was like, I mean, I've always had thinner hair, but it was like, I don't know,
Yeah, you said it was really thin.
Really
And especially
thin.
like for women, it tends to be right around
the hairline. And I didn't realize how
and
thin it
their
actually, I
parts.
knew it was getting thin, but until you took pictures, I was like, whoa,
Oh, crap.
the before and after. But we'll have to do a
We'll do another one because she just had her second, so we're a few weeks after the second. So we'll have to see.
third one.
I want to see
How
it.
many
That'd
of
be
you
great.
I'll
had
have to show you. Yeah.
done?
So I did 2, and then like I couldn't make it to my third.
Oh,
So
so you
maybe
did
I
one,
should
two.
come.
Two.
Maybe I
We'll get
should
it
come
back.
see you
Come
guys.
check it
Yes.
out.
Yeah. So the protocol, of course, is like once a month for 3 months.
Yeah.
I have noticed a huge difference. Right.
And you have a good full head. Like, so, if looking at you from the front, I'd be like, he's got gray hair.
Yeah.
But the nice thing, too, about Ted is it's actually preventative as well.
Yeah.
Plus, then, like she was saying, a lot of us don't realize where we're thinning. You don't see it all the
I
time.
didn't realize how
So until
bad.
she sees a picture,
I
you're
knew
like,
it
oh
was,
my.
but not to the extent.
Yeah.
Were you ever insecure about your hair or no?
So, yeah, a little bit here and there, right? if it's super short, like I have like a little less in this area, I call
Mm.
them, like people joke, but like I call them the power alleys.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
like that.
I need to trade. I need to
You
trademark
should.
I'm
it.
gonna tell my
And
boyfriend that because he has the
my
same thing.
Yeah.
my
That's the
dad's
most
not
common.
bald, luckily, and they say it skips a generation. I don't think I'm gonna have my grandfather because he was bald, but like my dad has the power alleys. Okay,
Mhm.
shorter hair, a little bit more back. And for me, like when I was kind of looking for treatment methodologies or different things that I could do, I saw you have Nutrafol back there.
Yeah.
Like that's something that people could take too as a supplement.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have tattoos, but I would never get needles in my head.
No,
You
it's
know,
completely
as a guy-
different. I have tattoos too, and I'm never.
Never.
Again, our pain tolerance.
I guess I
as
would never
guys
say
is
never
not-
because who knows if I was desperate.
Yeah, I guess if I was
And I
desperate,
see
and if
some
there weren't
guys-
other alternatives, which there
Yeah,
are
like
now.
we're lucky now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I would say I probably would be if I was really losing.
Yeah,
my
that's
hair.
true.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a transplant patient
No,
either. Like
you do
I
not,
think
yeah.
maybe 1 out of 10 people are really a transplant
Mhm.
patient. So for me, I'm like, well, how do I keep what I have?
Right.
How do I maybe get some dormant follicles revitalized? And that's where like Ted like came into my situation where I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, you're telling me this only takes 20 minutes?
I know. It's
It's
I
super
know.
easy. It doesn't hurt.
like a warm massage
yeah.
almost.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it actually works.
Mhm.
Like that's great.
I know.
And so I started doing my due diligence on it. And then of course, like I got it done and I have follicles that are like shorter and then longer too because my hair's
Mhm.
super long.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can see them when
See.
you look.
Oh yeah.
I mean, granted, my hair's really long right now,
Right.
but
Yeah.
even if it was short,
And
like
even
you'd be able to see
I
it.
mean, even with long hair, you still have you still get the thinning in the gap. So that's what I like about that. You kind of brought up. It's like it's also preventative. Like we keep saying,
Mhm.
it's like I maybe you do have a parent who's loses their hair. You're like, I might as well get this done now
Yeah.
to prevent the further maybe worsening loss I could have later on in life. So I think it's good even just to do a couple every now and then just to prevent.
For sure.
Keep that hair alive
sure.
longer because that's what it's doing is it's extending that active growth phase.
Okay. Active growth phase.
Yeah.
Explain like that a little bit more because that could be going over some people's
Yeah.
heads.
So you have 3 phases of hair growth, your hair growth cycle. So you have your anagen phase, your telogen phase, and your catagen phase. Anagen, active. So the active phase is what we're seeing on our head right now. Catagen is when it's starting to disconnect from the blood supply. And then the telogen is when it's dormant. You don't have it's fallen out. It's kind of
Just-
shedded.
yeah,
It's
shedding.
not there anymore.
Mhm.
So with TED, it is actually helping extend the life of the anagen, which is your active hair
Active.
growth phase. So it's keeping that hair anchored into the follicle for a longer period and a longer
Because
lifespan.
as soon as it hits the catagen, it's breaking off,
Yeah,
right?
once you hit the catagen, it's got to keep going through the cycle because now it's lost. Because we talked about blood supply, it's really
Mhm.
important that your hair stay connected to the blood supply. And once you hit the catagen phase, you're starting to disconnect from that blood supply, and it's now thinning and getting closer to the top, so it can just shed and fall out and hit the dormant.
This must also be why a lot of people recommend those little face or those massagers, scalp massages, because it's
Yes.
increasing the circulation.
supply.
and-
I would fall asleep, I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah.
I have one for my shower.
That's
that I
also
use.
why there's not a whole lot of research on this. This is coming more from less research, but the red light therapy, they're
Oh,
saying
yeah.
you can use that for your scalp too because it's stimulating that blood supply. So
Interesting.
it can help revitalize.
Do you think
the hair.
saunas help for that too?
Oh, that's a good question. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't know.
I mean, it's heat, but is it targeted heat? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
probably
guess,
not.
but if
I
it's
don't
helping blood, so I think any form
Cardiovascular,
of
maybe.
Yeah,
it's
cardiovascular.
improving your health. So this is the other thing too.
Removing
and I'm not-
toxins.
yeah, that's a good point. Like this is
That's
one thing, and
idea.
I'm not going to trash. There's other techniques that people have great results, but PRP, the one with the needles.
Yeah.
The only thing that I feel like I'm against that is that you don't know what type of plasma you're getting from the patient. It could not they may not have healthy plasma. So what you're injecting back into the scalp may not even be great plasma anyway. So it may not even be.
You're rolling the dice.
You're rolling the dice.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I
you're
didn't
rolling
know
the
And
dice.
that's why people are like, well, it worked at one point and it doesn't anymore, or I never really got results. It could just be because of what you're drawing isn't really
Good
the best,
plasma.
healthiest. Yeah, they may not be that healthy right now.
Mhm.
So it's what you're injecting back in isn't even gonna stimulate it as well. So that's why I like TED is you're working with what they have currently, and
Right.
you don't have to worry about. And then like you brought up the Nutrafol, I think that's great because that's working on the root cause of what's
Yeah.
causing your hair.
And what are
loss.
like a lot of the causes? Because I know I mentioned for me mine was more
Yeah.
hormonal. I think.
Hormones is a big one. Genes, like your DNA,
Yeah.
what's in your genes,
Stress, I guess.
stress, your diet, your environment, everything that's in our environment can cause some of that aging, unfortunately.
What
can
part
create
of the
some.
environment? Like sun damage?
Or even like when we had the wildfire smoke, that
Yeah.
like just any like
Just
toxins
putting
in the
stressors.
environment can damage your hair.
Stressor.
Stressor.
It's crazy how much
external.
stuff is fighting against.
All the
Oh,
time,
we
like
were
free
literally just talking about that
radicals,
this
all that
morning.
stuff. Yeah.
It's even like male, like not to like hijack that, but like
Yeah.
even
No.
like male testosterone, you know, like
Yes.
ever since like the 1960s, like if you look at the male testosterone has just like significantly declined. It's
That's interesting.
food.
Oh yeah, they're
Like
putting all that stuff in the food.
exercise,
So, yeah.
air quality. I mean, I got mine checked. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be 30, like I said. Like I
Mhm.
got
Good.
mine checked. I just wanted to see where it was at. Yeah, it's a little lower than I want it to be, you know. And
Mhm.
like again, is it diet? Is it exercise?
Is it
Like,
just
what am I-
aging though?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Changes. Yeah.
They say you want to be like 800 to 1100. I think mine came back at like 426 or something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
But
Yeah.
and they say like anything under like 300 is like female. I think like
You're
estrogen. Yeah, I was I did. I was a little scared, you know. But at the end of the day, like the provider was like, "You're good,"
Yeah. You're fine.
and like
yeah.
That's
I
good.
And
looked
things
into some other
fluctuate
stuff.
too.
For
but,
sure.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. I was like, all right, diet and exercise, like I can change.
For
So.
sure.
Is that one of the recommendations they said? to help?
Yeah, start with that, and like it also fertility. So
Yeah,
like I didn't want to start it until like I was done having kids. So when I'm done,
Yeah.
in a couple of years, then I will probably get on
Really
something.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just evaluate the options.
That probably affects hair. I'm assuming too.
Oh
no?
yeah. Your
I think it
hormones,
does.
100%.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
testosterone level though
Yeah,
specifically.
because
Yeah.
like for women, it tends to be we have a higher level of testosterone, which is what's causing.
Well, what I found out is like when your
hair
estrogen
loss.
drops at 35, that actually there's something like counter
causes it,
to it.
yeah.
So interesting.
And
A lot of
so
it
then
will-
I get androgen
I
hormones.
say what happens is we have like
And I had
too
a little
much androgen.
dark chin hair. I'm like,
girl
what
off
is
the
there?
podcast.
That's
Yeah,
terrible.
losing it on my head, but
But
gaining it on my face.
like cute, real cute.
Love that.
Love it for
Well, it's
me.
kind of nice that you brought up the hormone thing for men because we talk a lot about how females struggle with the hormones, but honestly, I'm so bad about considering the other gender sometimes and how
That's a good point though
it
about
does
testosterone.
play a big role for you guys, and you still struggle with it. I just think we talk about it a lot more because ours are fluctuating daily. I
Right.
mean, literally daily.
Yeah.
Or it's
so-
energy and
yeah.
it's I mean, weight loss, energy,
Yeah.
weight loss, gym like performance. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
if you get away from that as a guy, like you're like, well, I need to get back in the gym. Like I need to make sure I'm performing, and
Mm-hmm.
it comes back to even sexual health. Like
Yeah.
it comes back to
Yeah.
everything. So
Mhm.
I don't know. It's all a big circle.
It's interesting too that you mentioned a lot about the gym, and I do feel like guys in particular,
Yeah,
like
he does, yeah.
there is something about staying active for men. I don't
Mhm.
know.
No,
I
I agree.
think
You said it a few
biologically, like
times.
they need to like be active,
Mhm.
like constantly.
Yeah, I feel like a caged animal.
Yeah, if you're not,
do
yes,
something.
I feel that way. With,
Especially like driving a
I
lot.
say you travel a lot. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah, like today, like I'm gonna go back to my hotel and
Yeah.
I'll probably gonna like walk 2 or 3 miles
Just
just
go
to
do something.
just to do
yeah,
something.
and see, we
Um,
might
That's it.
lay
I
in the
think I'm
bed.
tired. I'm just kidding. You just drove all day.
Yeah.
I'm taking a nap.
I mean, I might go to the bar.
But
too.
I didn't
don't
work
know
out
yet.
this
I do
morning
haven't
is
find
decided.
done.
that though.
You might go to the bar first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, okay, was that you think a play? Like I know you guys do a lot of drinking in the industry. Just
Who?
You.
Who you
You.
pointing
It's
fingers
like-
at?
Don't call
Well,
him
me
out
too.
like
I
that.
do
Whoa,
too.
whoa, whoa.
Jeez.
On the
you're
weekends,
On
the
the
weekends.
weekends. I don't
Weekends
mean, like,
only.
Not like Monday.
You gotta work. You
p.m.
can work for the weekend.
Work for the weekend, but at like events because you're trying to socialize.
Yeah.
And there's drinking. Do you think that has played a part in like your health or your hair loss or any of that stuff?
I don't know
Do you feel
about.
like it was excessive?
I don't know about hair. It's always
Doing too
excessive.
much?
No.
Okay.
No, it's always excessive.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
true.
think like for hair loss, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe, but I think for me, like personally, being in the again, getting back to the beauty
Yeah.
industry, like it's kind of like a standard, right? But
Mhm.
I've cut back for sure. Not just having a daughter now, but it's like I cut back because I don't want to feel like that when I have to socialize and do my job
It's
all
different when
weekend
you go
long.
older too.
Yeah, it's a
really-
little different. Like now I need
Rebound
Nad
quite as
drips.
fast.
I need all the Myers cocktails I
Yeah.
can get and
For
other
me, it
things.
just goes straight to hurting now. Don't
Okay,
even.
wake up pain.
Or wake up and drinking and like continue drinking.
That's what. Yeah.
Well, not sound
No, I was
super
like-
alcoholic.
I was just
but
like,
Every now and then.
at an event, it's a little different.
just to
right?
keep the ball rolling, because if you stop,
Yeah.
you're gonna like
When
it'll
you do,
hurt.
you have to be on your game at some
For
of these
sure.
events. Yeah. So that's a lot of pressure. Like I don't know if someone wasn't a drinker, how you survive that.
I don't know.
Are there a lot of non-drinkers that you're aware of?
There's a couple.
Are there a couple?
There's a
They
couple.
do okay.
There's like a good.
You
They do
learned
okay.
a way to
They
Yeah,
do okay.
they do-
communicate
they
with
do
you.
great.
sweetie.
Some of them like religious purposes. Which is totally respectable,
Oh,
right?
100%.
Some
Any
people
reason,
just don't.
yeah.
Some people just don't. Some people are recovering.
I was
You
gonna
know,
say, yeah.
it's whatever floats their boat. You know, their addiction is now maybe work, which is
Right.
great, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for whatever
Exactly right,
like
yeah.
kind of keeps you happy and moving. But I don't know. It would be
Yeah.
difficult to essentially be around an environment like that.
Yeah, that's
I
kind of what I
can't
mean. Are
imagine.
they okay? It's like that would be
Yeah.
really hard. To
I think
be around
most of
all
them
the
are
time.
pretty good, and like if they ever had an issue with some of it, they would remove themselves
Yeah.
from the situation, or they'd say, "Hey guys, like
Yeah.
I'm not really a big fan of that." So I went to OU, so
I would say you're a pro at it, right?
yeah,
I
it's
think
like
I went
kinda
to
silly.
UD, and we always thought we were
Yeah,
more
It's like
better.
second nature,
More
honestly.
better.
More better.
Kind of
We were the
sickening to think about.
bestest. Yeah, who's better, OU or Dayton?
Dayton.
Are you
Go
kidding?
Flyers.
That's not even a question.
It is.
Like,
We can talk later about this.
how many times did you visit OU?
Once.
Once, yeah.
How many? Okay, well, I
We
was
survived once, one done.
yeah, okay,
No.
yeah. Most people can only come one time there, but like
Yeah.
I did fine because I
I
went
was
to
in the
UD.
bar- yeah.
It was like our warm up.
I was in the bar scene there, anyway, so it was different. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
no, that makes sense. Yeah, you're used to that kind of atmosphere. Both of you are.
I mean,
Anyways.
Flyers are good.
We digress. That's for later. Is there any like tips or anything you have for let's talk about men, any male men who are wanting to maybe explore the aesthetics, anywhere they should start or
Well, your guys' place, of course.
Oh, of course, come see
If you're in Columbus and
Even if you're not, come just drive to
or
us.
drive, yeah,
Anytime.
hour radius, right?
Yeah. That's true.
If you're in Columbus, for sure, like
Yeah.
check out Innovative. I think you guys do a great job with a lot of different things. It's like all encompassing, and it doesn't matter what you look like, how old you are, male or female. Like I think you should come check them out. If you're a guy, for sure, hair. Like if you
Hair,
have, like
wow.
that's probably our biggest thing. Is there's two things guys will always pay for if it doesn't work downstairs, and if they're losing it upstairs.
That's a good.
Agreed.
It's a mantra that I've embraced as a guy. I mean, I'm working both up and down, which is good, but I'm being honest
So
here.
far.
I got it
So,
going on
yeah,
ever,
so
so
far,
we're good.
fingers crossed. I mean, 30, it's
Things
tough,
change,
but
yeah.
things change. But I think like hair would probably be the number one,
Yeah.
and then like preventative, like you mentioned. I think you have to like be able to evaluate, like self-evaluate, and as a guy, like you should be able to do that. And whether that's peer pressure from your peers or maybe it's your partner. What if you're a guy in the dating scene? Like I don't know what that's like,
For sure.
but I have tons of friends who are my age and they're like, it's hard to date right now. I don't know what that's like, but
Sucks.
yeah, you're like, it
So
sucks.
worse.
So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. No, that's good advice. And I think too for men, like it's not weird that you go to an aesthetics. I think hopefully
we should
that
start to
norm
normalize that.
I'm hoping it's more normal now, but knowing that it's not
Definitely
weird to walk
normalize
into a
it.
place. Yeah.
don't feel intimidated. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like people want to help you. Like you're going to
Yeah.
get a great service wherever you go. Just identifying and even having a consult. Like it could be a skin consult.
For sure.
Like you're going to recommend what you think's best for that
Right.
person.
And I even think like looking at it's more of a health. You're taking care of your health. It's not just to be beautiful. It's truly taking care of your health and wellness. So
I'm all
that's a
about
different way.
longevity. So
There you go.
I think longevity.
Same-
Yeah, I said it and said that. There you go.
There you go. Mic
long-
drop.
Yeah, longevity and preventative.
Yeah.
Like those are the two big things that I always like consider. So as a guy, guys, go do it. I
Check
think
it
it's
out,
good. Yeah.
Agreed.
And where can people find you?
Any platforms you're on if people wanted to ask you any more questions, Instagram or anything?
I think my Instagram handle is like alma.aesthetics_Dalton. That's just like my aesthetics
Okay.
page.
Complicated.
Something
I'll
like
add
that.
that.
I don't know. You,
You can find
plug-
our page
Or
and find Dalton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can plug me in.
help you
But
find
I post a bunch of different treatments and stuff. A lot of accounts follow me. I follow them. Always posting different before and afters from accounts. I post your guys' stuff too,
Yes.
which is great. And then, yeah, that's how you can find me.
Awesome. Perfect. I appreciate you being on here with us.
Thanks
today.
for having me.
You've
I
been
appreciate
great.
it. Yeah. Any last closing remarks?
No, that was
questions?
perfect. Go
No?
find Dalton if you have any other questions.
Bye, beauties.
Thank you.
Boxland Media. Think big.